Good evening. The Board of Trustees of Lamar Consolidated Independent School District is called to order at 7 o'clock. This is the regular monthly board meeting being held on May 16th. We have a quorum with all members, well, no, one member absent, Mr. Hubenek. We will open the meeting with our traditional moment of silence for you to observe as you feel appropriate. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. And Dr. Randall, it's a very special night, one of those special ones that I enjoy.
Yes, sir, Madam President. We have two recognitions tonight, our valedictorian and salutatorian math con medalists, and if the board members will join us up front.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Kay Williams. I am the principal at Lamar Consolidated High School. I want to congratulate our new board members and also our board members who have new positions. And good evening, Dr. Randall. Tonight I want to introduce the salutatorian for Lamar Consolidated High School, Yixin He. And Yixin's parent is Shoi and Hua He. And Yixin has a GPA of 115.8783. She plans to attend the University of Texas in Austin. She's been a member of our PALS and our STUCO organizations. She plans to study mathematics. She wants to become an actuary. What she hopes to accomplish in life is to be happy. What she remembers most about Lamar Consolidated are the teachers and her friends. And her favorite quote is, "Life is simple, but we insist on making it complicated." And now a valedictorian for Lamar Consolidated High School is Stephen Tran. His parents are Soon, Win, and Tony Tran. Stephen has a GPA of 117.0267. He plans to attend the University of Houston and wants to pursue a higher education degree in economics with a minor in mathematics. He's earned over $250,000 in scholarship money. At Lamar, he's been a member of our band, Skills USA, National Honor Society, tennis, and the English Ministry Group. What he wants to do in life is serve others. And his favorite quote, "If your values are shallow, your victories will be empty." Thank you.
Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Randall. My name is Andre Osage, and I am the proud principal of B.F. Terry High School. Tonight, I'm going to introduce to you first our salutatorian for the class of 2019, Alexandra Howard. Alex is here with her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Howard. Alex moved to the great state of Texas from Arkansas prior to attending junior high. Alex attended George Junior High and then moved to Terry High School. Alex is going to be graduating with a GPA of 115.6. While at Terry, she was a member of the varsity softball team, member of the student council, and member of the National Honor Society. In January, Alex signed a national letter of intent to continue her softball career at Langston University in Chicago. Her academic scholarship completely paid for to attend Langston through a scholarship of the McGabe Honor Program Scholarship Foundation. Her college is completely paid for. That's a good thing. Upon graduating from college, upon attending college, she plans to double major in animal science and business administration with an emphasis in marketing. Upon graduating from college, she plans to pursue a career in veterinary medicine or maybe law. Please join me in congratulating Alex Howard.
Parents, would you all please stand when they're introduced? We want to see you too.
Our valedictorian for the class of 2019 tonight is Allison Hahn. Allison is here with her parents, Mr. Darrell and Mrs. Kim Hahn. Alex is one of our true Lamar product. She attended Meyer and Thomas Elementary and then went to Reading Junior High before attending Terry High School. While at Terry High School, she participated in the National Honor Society and volunteered and completed over 250 hours of volunteer service hours. Alex is graduating with a GPA of 115.79. Allison is one of the recipients of the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Scholarship worth over $20,000. She will be attending Texas A&M to study aerospace engineering in the Engineering Honor Program with a goal of eventually working with NASA to engineer new types of rockets for manned space fleet. Please join me to congratulate Allison Hahn.
Good evening, Dr. Randall, Board of Trustees. I'm Jerry Kipping, the proud principal of Foster High School, and I would like to introduce our salutatorian, Grace Byers. Grace's parents are here, Wayne and Deborah Byers, if you would please stand. Grace's GPA is 118.6129. She is part of our varsity golf team. She was co-captain her junior year. She's part of the National Honor Society. She is an AP ambassador, and she was on the executive board her sophomore, junior, and senior year. She volunteers in child welfare and health, also in animal welfare and peer tutoring. She plans to attend Emory University, and she's going to major in history and finance. Her plan after that is to become a lawyer after Emory and get into merger and acquisition lawyering. Her life goal, she wants a career in corporate world that provides women a place in business where their future, it doesn't matter what sex you are. So she is going to be a fantastic lawyer down the road. Our valedictorian is Haley Nicole Etzler. Her parents are Leroy and Diana Etzler, who are in the back. Her GPA is 121.1806, and if you do not know what that means, that's really high. She's been part of numerous organizations at Foster High School. She was part of the Principal Student Advisory Group, National Honor Society, AP Ambassadors, Service Corps, Varsity Softball, Green Club, Health Organization, Students of America, HOSA. She also volunteers at Sacred Heart Catholic Church. She's a member of their Vacation Bible School volunteer group, Gigi's Playhouse for Down Syndrome Achievement Center volunteer also. She plans to go to the University of Texas. She will be part of the Honors in Advanced Nutritional Science program. Her career plans are to be a physician's assistant, Her scholarships are the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Scholarship, the Rosenberg's Masonic Scholarship, Rotary Club of Richmond Scholarship, Fort Bend Lions Club Scholarship, and the ECO NRG Scholarship. When Haley is done with her learning, she wants to have a career as a physician's assistant to help bring adequate medical care to those in need. Congratulations to you, Haley.
My name is Greg Tilkey. I'm the proud associate principal over at George Ranch High School. I'm overly honored to be provided the esteemed opportunity to present to the board this year's Balance Out for George Ranch High School. I would like to first introduce our 2019 salutatorian, Graciela Lang, and she goes by Gracie. Please also know that Gracie is visited tonight by her mother, Miss Pam Liang. While in high school, Gracie has had an amazing career. Department awards for Students of the Year in English and Science, leadership awards for all core subject areas, fine arts, and also LOTE. In 2017 Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, she did a colored pencil drawing called the Picture Perfect Sunrise, and it was auctioned off for $22,000, which was a school record. Only 72 out of 187,000 pieces were submitted to be auctioned. 2017, she also received the Texas Visual Art Scholastic event. It was also a colored pencil drawing, The Passing of Seasons, and she qualified for the state exhibition. In 2018 also, she was 6A regional dive champion and the district swim 200-meter freestyle relay champion, and then also the district champion of the meet at the 6A tournament. 2017, she also held the record for the pool record for 1 meter 6 dives, and she also was a National Hispanic Scholar. Lastly, she also was second team 6A All-State diving. Gracie has received the following scholarships: Texas Christian University Athletic Scholarship for Diving, Texas Christian University Dean Scholarship, Athletic Booster Scholarship, and then also too, Gracie holds a GPA of 117.8250. Gracie will be attending Texas Christian University in the fall and plans to study movement science kinesiology with the aspirations of becoming an occupational therapist. Please help me in congratulating Gracie. I would now like to introduce our 2019 valedictorian, Lauren Crouch. Lauren is visited tonight by her father and mother, Mr. Kevin and Miss Glenda Crouch. Please stand. While in high school, Lauren has had an amazing career. Student athlete in varsity basketball program, participate in AAU basketball outside of school. She's in the National Honor Society, National Spanish Honor Society as the treasurer, Math Honor Society, part of the Key Club, and helps with her church at River Point with small groups. And she was also Junior State of America Vice President. Lauren has also received the following scholarships: National Merit Special Scholarship, Roger Glosson Scholarship, NHS Scholarship, Texas Christian University Dean Scholarship, and then the National Merit Commended Scholarship. Lauren holds a GPA of 118.1968. Lauren will be attending the University of Texas Austin in the fall and will be studying business at the McCombs School of Business at UT. Lauren aspires going to law school following her undergrad to pursue a career in law. Please help me in congratulating her.
Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Randall. I am Erin Forbes. I'm the Associate Principal at Fulshire High School, and it is my pleasure to announce the first ever valedictorian and salutatorian for Fulshire High School. I'll start by introducing our salutatorian, Katie Robertson. Today, she's here with her mother, Mary Ann Robertson, and she is also a daughter of Mark Robertson. Katie has earned a GPA of 116.63 and has been involved in varsity swim for all 4 years of high school. She was the captain of the Charger swim team for the past 2 years. Katie was the 4-time district champion for varsity swimming and a state qualifier her junior and senior year. She was named second team All-State her junior year. She competed in UIL academics and is a member of the National Honor Society. Katie volunteers regularly for our community in Lunches of Love and Clothed by Faith. She competes in club swimming outside of school and plans to swim in college. She plans to attend either the University of Cincinnati or Colorado State University and major in molecular and cellular biology. She earned the Presidential Scholarship from Colorado State University. From the University of Cincinnati, she was awarded the Cincinnatus Century Scholarship as well as the National Outreach Award. Katie plans to be a doctor and would like to go into either pediatric oncology or pediatric endocrinology for her career. Please help me congratulate Katie Robertson. Next, I would like to introduce to you Fulshear High School's first ever valedictorian, Rafal Bileski. Rafal is son of Joanna and Rafal Bileski and is here also with his sister Jessica and Miss Bileski. Rafal earned a GPA of 116.17 and has been a member of cross country for all 4 years of high school. Rafal also participated in wrestling. He is a member of National Honor Society and was the Vice President of Workforce Industry Training, known by the acronym of WIT, which is a STEM career organization on our campus sponsored by the Texas A&M Nuclear Power Institute. He competed in UIL academics in high school, specifically in math subjects. Outside of school, Rafal volunteers with Our Lady of Chastanova Church. Rafal plans to attend Texas A&M in the fall. There you go. Where he will study petroleum engineering. From A&M, he was awarded the President Achievement Scholarship. Rafal wants to go into petroleum engineering as a career and aspires to be a leader in his company as well as in the field of engineering. Please congratulate our very first valedictorian, Rafal.
Let's congratulate our salutatorian valedictorian.
Good evening, Dr. Randall and Board of Trustees. My name is Andrea Olson, and I am the District Math Coordinator. And I have the honor of presenting our MathCon medalists to you guys tonight. But first, I would like to tell you a little bit about MathCon so that you guys have a true understanding of what an amazing accomplishment this is. MathCon is a math competition for students all across the United States and Canada for students in grades 5 through 12. It stretches their thinking and it challenges them in ways they've never been challenged before in order to truly identify mathematical excellence. And each year, about 50,000 students participate in the competition. There are 2 rounds. The first one is the regional round, and the second one is the finals, which is held in Chicago. In the regional round, it's an online test that's given at the campus level. The LCISD math teachers facilitate it, and the students take it. And then from there, MathCon reviews all the results from the regional round. And students that perform in the top 1% in that regional round are selected by MathCon to compete in the final round in Chicago, Illinois. This year, LCISD had 23 students who competed in the final round in Chicago. To further explain how incredible this is, when we were at that final round, we saw that most of the schools that were there were math specialty schools or STEM academies. There were very few public schools represented and even fewer students from public schools who received medals. And to get a little deeper, when the results came back, I looked through all those Texas results, and in the entire state of Texas, there were only 15 students who received medals. 11 of them came from LCISD. It is truly my honor to introduce these medalists to the board this evening. I'd like to start by introducing our bronze medalist, 12th grader from Foster High School, Austin Ramirez. Next, we have Christine Buckwalter, 12th grader from George Ranch, earning honorable mention. Earning an honorable mention, we have 7th grader from Lehman Junior High, Brooks Bryant. Earning an honorable mention, we have 11th grader from Lamar Consolidated High School, George Kosa. Earning an honorable mention, we have 11th grader from George Ranch High School, Kunal Modi. And the next three share the same last name. They are siblings. Earning an honorable mention, we have 6th grader from Polly Ryan, Lizzie Pham. Earning an honorable mention, we have 12th grader from George Ranch High School, Michael Pham. Earning an honorable mention, we have 10th grader from George Ranch High School, Stefan Pham. Earning an honorable mention, we have 12th grader from Fulshire High School, Alex Torres. I would like to take a moment to recognize the parents and family members of these students. If you are a parent or family member of these MathCon students, will you please stand? To the parents, this level of achievement truly begins early, with early math exposure in your child's life, far before they ever enter our doors at LCISD. Through your encouragement, your support, your continual exposure to math throughout your child's life, you have played an incredibly important role in helping your child reach this monumental moment in mathematics. Thank you for all that you do, and I'm proud of these kids.
Wow. That's kind of a hard act to follow, isn't it? Congratulations to everyone tonight. Dr. Randall, do we have any introductions?
Yes, Madam President. Just one second. I want to ask Chris Jonte to stand. We're not going to give him the formal introduction like everybody else.
Because he's already introduced.
But Chris is our interim Deputy Superintendent for Support Services, and I wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to see him, and he's really doing a great job stepping in for us.
Thank you.
Good evening. First, I'd like to introduce Bethany Cunningham. Bethany is joined tonight by her husband, Chris, and her 3 children, Wyatt, Lila, and Miles. Bethany is a May 2005 graduate of Houston Baptist University with a bachelor's degree in management. In 2012, she received a master's degree in educational leadership from the University of Houston Clear Lake. Ms. Cunningham has 13 years of education experience, including 7 years of teaching experience and 6 years as an assistant principal. Bethany is the new principal at Huggins Elementary. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Next, I would like to introduce you to Risa Crosby. Risa is a December 2002 graduate of Texas A&M University with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. She received her master's degree in 2009 in administration and supervision from the University of Houston, Victoria. Ms. Crosby has 14 years of experience in education, including 4 years of teaching experience, 4 years as a math facilitator, and 6 years as an assistant principal. And Risa will be the new principal at Long Elementary. And I'd also like to introduce Keisha Jones. Keisha is joined tonight by her husband, Danny, and her daughters, Cassidy and Alexis. Keisha is a December 1996 graduate of the University of Houston with a bachelor's degree in elementary education. She received a master's degree in 2006 in administration and supervision from the University of Houston, Victoria. Ms. Jones has 23 years of experience in education, including 18 years of teaching experience and 5 years as an assistant principal. And Keisha is the new principal at Smith Elementary.
Congratulations. All right. The next item on the agenda, do we have any audience to papers tonight?
There are none, Madam President.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the approval of minutes. We have the April 16th, 2019 special meeting workshop. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I have a motion, or make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, there you go. All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Okay. Now let's go on to the April 18th, 2019 regular board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make the motion.
A motion. Do I have a second? Sure. Good. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oops, brought my pencil. All right. Board member reports. Does anyone have anything tonight? Well, if not, I do. Since our last board meeting, we, on the board, several of us have been pretty busy.
Yes.
There was one week, I think we had 1 dinner and 3 luncheons in a row, so it was a very busy week. Since our last meeting, we've had the Employee Recognition Banquet, where we recognize people that have worked in the district 5, 10, 15, 20, and we went up to all the way to 40 years of experience in our service in our district. So that's amazing. That was very enlightening to see they're still working for us for so many years. The next day was the Youth and Philanthropy Luncheon, and for those new or to the board, I was not aware of it till I got on the board. This is through the George Foundation and Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce. This is a program where juniors and seniors from every high school in Fort Bend County, whether private or public school, they have a chance to become part of this program where they take 6 Saturdays out of their school year and do volunteer work. At the end, if they've completed the program, then they can apply for scholarships. I was able, through another organization, to read some of those scholarship essays, and they were amazing. But what was even more amazing, I think they gave out, there was 200 people in the program, 180 some odd finished, but 86 scholarships, I believe, and our district got 28. I think I could count. They went by pretty quick. But what was very amazing, they gave out 3 $5,000 scholarships, and one of our young ladies from Terry received that. So I was very proud of our students and their accomplishments. And then the next day, we went to the luncheon for the activities supporting adult parents, and I can't thank Kelly Kipping enough for what she does with these seniors. That we celebrate the seniors that are graduating, and I know that some of us got the thank you note from Ms. Kipping thanking our board, did donate some money for scholarships, and she was able to do 2 scholarships, and she was very appreciative, and a thank you again to our board that stepped up for that. These young people really work hard to graduate and go forward with their lives. And then the very next day, we had Jill Davis do the volunteer luncheon, and then you meet the amazing people that go to all the schools. You know, it takes a village, and it takes a lot of volunteer hours to make everything happen on the campuses, and we can't thank those people that, and a lot of them are churches, some are people that have just retired, they don't even have kids in the school, and it warms my heart to see how much they do. And then, of course, some of y'all did come to Surf's Up almost 2 weeks ago, where we have the $1,000 or multi-$1,000 cakes, and for the foundation. And thank you again to Janice Knight. And they sold over 1,424 tickets and raised over $103,959 that night. I know, isn't that amazing? And again, That money goes directly back to our schools, and it's just thank you again to Janice and all that she does. So we've been very busy, and that's all I've got for that. So, Dr. Randall, do you have any reports
Yes, sir,
tonight?
just, yes, ma'am.
I know, it'd take me a while
I'm
to just do
sorry.
it too.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. Just to let the board know that we do have enough minutes through our waiver to be able to, for our bad weather day, to where we will not have to make that up by coming back in for an additional day. And next month, the board will receive a resolution that will allow those employees that missed that day to be paid.
Okay.
And we'll discuss more of the bad weather day and how that comes about during that time.
All right, thank you. All right, now we've moved on to the part of our meeting where we're going to create a consent agenda as of per the questions and information you got on Tuesday. If you want something pulled for more information or another question, just please let me know. If not, I will just continue reading them out.
And Madam President, before we get started,
I was gonna ask.
C1 on page 211, we're asking to pull that completely from the agenda. The staff, as they were working through some of the negotiations, they've got to revisit the license renewal on that. And so we will bring that back to the board next month.
Okay, so there's nothing I need to do with that?
When we get to it,
Just
it
say
will
it.
not be included in the
Okay,
consent.
Okay, all right. All right, here we go. A1, A2, A3,
I'd like to pull that.
A4, A5, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, and I'll come back and read those donations, B6, B7, B8,
I'd like to pull that as well.
B9, B10, B11, B12, B13, B14, B15, B16,
I'd like to pull that as well.
B17, and B18. All right. At this time, our consent agenda consists of A1, 2, 4, 5, B1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, and 18. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second? Either one? Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, right now, before we get started, can I go ahead and read the donations? And I think there was an amended donation sheet placed on your...
That's correct.
All right. And these, again, are anything that's a donation more than $5,000. There are probably other donations, but if they're under that amount, we don't have to bring it to the board. All right, parents of Briscoe donated $7,800 for a wall mural in the small gym at Briscoe Junior High School. Dickinson PTO donated $24,100 to change out the marquee sign in the electrical infrastructure at Dickinson Elementary School. Fulshire High School Activity Fund number 33 donated $5,428.66 to help purchase a marquee sign for Fulshire High School. Hubeneck PTA donated $5,000 to be used for grade level technology at Hubeneck Elementary School. And the Friends of Huggins donated $5,246.97 to purchase televisions for the front office and cafeteria at Huggins Elementary School. And thank you again to all those parent organizations and friends that do so much for all those schools. All right, so now we will go back to the items that have been pulled.
The item that, the first one is that the Board of Trustees approved the interlocal cooperative agreement with Equal Opportunity Schools in the amount of $122,000 and authorize the superintendent to execute the agreement.
Okay, do I have a motion for this?
I'll make a motion.
Make a
to
motion?
approve.
I'll second it. All right, now we can have discussion. Do you have some more questions, or did you have that you needed to have clarified?
Not necessarily. I didn't know if...
Well, you can give comments, too.
I can give my comments.
Correct, but if there's anything else that we need to, there's people here to help.
I have a hard time supporting this for two reasons. One, because the program's already been in place with the district since 2015. I don't understand what the district has not learned in those last couple of years that the professionals in our district are not able to take and run with. Why we need to, again, give them $122,000. That does not include travel reimbursement. The other problem I have with this is the fact the district is committing to give personal data of students through the year 2029 of any student enrolled in the 5 high schools listed. I think that should be much more generic, and I think the time frame should be shorter. In other words, student pictures, absolutely not. I don't even know why the student names, student ID, SAT scores, I can kind of see the SAT scores. I don't understand why we're committing to, over the next 10 years, give that data to a company in Seattle who has the right to share that information with other organizations that they deem responsible to keep it, such as university professors doing research. That data will be spread all over the U.S. and on university computers and stuff, so I have a difficult time.
Okay, I think we have some answers to those concerns.
They will not share that unless it is our consent. And the 10-year longitudinal data through 2029 is only for district and school purposes. There are no confidential information. This is all stored in a very confidential Amazon, I think it's called the H2C program. I mean, it's a very encrypted program that protects data. All of the staff have to sign FERPA confidential agreements, but nothing is released to third-party people at universities or anything unless the district would consent to that.
I have a question. Do the parents know that this is being shared?
I do not know that portion of that. Is that it is used? I do not believe so. It is used just for us to be able to look at, if we have the program, when this is the 4th year of the program. And what we are looking for as we continue to look at that longitudinal data, it enables us to compare students in that 10-year period to the programs that we have that we're currently trying to sustain, to determine, are there things that we need to grow, what challenges do we have, what tweaks that we need to make, so that we can continue to sustain the work that we're doing within the program. And that is the main purpose of keeping the data for 10 years, not to sell it off, not for university professors, only for our purposes, for us to continue the work moving forward.
Part of the answer to that is most of these kids, when they're brought in and they're encouraged to take AP courses, parents are very much involved in that. And so they are very much the insight card, for example, that is used that identifies the kid. It talks specifically about an adult who is recommending that they take the course, as well as some of their goals. And then the staff uses that to then go out and try to recruit these kids to come in and take AP courses. And the feedback that we've gotten from those parents that have been involved have been very, very positive, because many of them, their kids weren't even encouraged to take AP before. And that's how the data is used.
Yes, sir.
It is one of those things that certainly I would encourage knowing as much about it, or even a presentation coming to the board so that you can understand exactly what this is. This is not one of those programs where Big Brother is watching us. We use the data to go out and encourage kids who normally used to be in this district discouraged from taking AP courses.
Sure, but the 10-year time frame has nothing to do with Lamar. Do I not understand that correctly? It has to do with...
They're following our kids. They're following our kids. We're using that data.
I can understand us for, till the end of time, keeping that data and comparing it in time frames, but my issue is with the company in Seattle having the data. And for the next 10 years, the kid's not even in high school right now.
Correct, but it gives us comparison data of the kids that we currently have going through our system so that we can really evaluate our own programming. And so there's a lot of benefits to it. And Dr. Randall also speaking to the fact that we have seen a lot of increases in our AP participation in all categories in Lamar. We have also seen dual credit take off as well. And a large reason for that is the inside cards and the counseling conversations that are happening with our kids where somebody thinks that this isn't possible. I don't know about AP, I don't know about dual credit, and all of a sudden they're given an opportunity to take a class. And for some of those kids, it'll change the whole trajectory of their life, and they're engaged in classes that is rigorous and gives them a purpose as well.
I like that.
Yeah.
But what has the district not learned in the last 4 years that we're going to learn in the next 12 months if we authorize another $122,000 before travel expenses are added to it? I mean, have we not already learned some of those things that the district can take and run with themselves?
We have the insight cards and the data that is stored help us to make those decisions. And it's not that we're going to continue to fund this for eternity, but right now, for at least kind of moving forward, and we take it 1 year at a time, we feel we're at a spot where we need to continue to have the support and the tools so that we can continue to identify those kids and continue to get them in rigorous courses. Because we're not...
And another way to answer that is, all of the data crunching, all of that work is being done by equal opportunity schools. They come to us with the information already done. We are not at the level to where we would be able to do that in-house at this point. We've just gone to an operational audit where they really spent the time to helping us to see and understand those areas where we need to take and strengthen and beef up. But right now, we don't have, we would have to literally be looking at several people in order to come in and do that work. So a part of that cost is associated with the work that they're doing for us and bringing the information. Brian, for example, can go into their system and they've already crunched the information and he can pull down, if you ask the question about how well is George Ranch doing on closing the gap. And he could pull that information down. Brian is not doing that. He's just using the information, and that's what EOS is providing. So it's not a matter of just the information. It is a matter of them doing a lot of the work that we would, and to be quite frank with you, we're not there yet with having the staff and the capability to be able to provide that.
So how many more years are we talking about? Are you just ballpark it? Another 2, 3, 4 years of reauthorizing this every year? I mean, how long are we anticipating this program being renewed?
It's an annual contract now.
It's the goal is to begin to get to a point where we will require less of their coming in and training our staff, less of the amount of time that it takes to pull together all of the information. The goal is for that cost to go down. Now, the only way that it'll really increase is high school number 6. And adding because they would be going through the same thing. Because if you go back, I know you looked at it, it's broken down by the cost per school. So when you add schools, there would be costs associated with that. But the goal is ultimately to decrease it. I can't tell you a year, 2 years, 3 years. I won't, because I don't believe in saying something without again everybody having to see and understand how the program works, because I think that if you did, you would say that this is money well spent.
Dr. Randall, would it be appropriate or possible that we could pull this tonight and have a presentation, or is this timely that it needs to be done this evening?
I actually think that we could pull it.
We could communicate with the company and pull it.
Yeah.
We could.
We could do that.
To provide a
I think that might help some of our new board
explanation.
members to maybe have some history on it, you know.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
And actually what you would be doing is tabling it.
Tabling it, yes.
Okay, what kept bothering me was on page 59, Exhibit C, where it says data to be shared for the purpose of ongoing study and instructional improvement. And trying to look into this about, it always says the school district, but at the very end of that paragraph, it says, in addition to the data elements listed below, in performing services and implementing programs, equal opportunity school or a third party on their behalf.
Right.
And I think that's what's bothering me, because then at the very bottom, I asked before, the National Student Clearinghouse. That's where I'm kind of, that to me means anybody.
I think it would be good to share that, because if you're worried about that, then we're in big trouble. Because not only do we have that in athletics, not only do we have it in PEAMS, not only do we have it in the testing group that the state uses, the data is in a lot of different places. And getting clarification for that, I think we would be happy to, happy to provide that.
I think that's all, it just needs to be clarified.
And I think, too, when we had this presented, I remember that presentation. It was an excellent presentation that we had when it first came to us. And another thing I don't think the new board members understand is that district is under a grade from the state. And one of the areas is following these kids and how they do after high school, correct?
Absolutely.
And
yes,
that's another component of having this program. It helps us see exactly where we are.
And we can share that in the presentation. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just one other point that I think would be helpful is that my understanding is that, any of the school officials in the room know how stringent FERPA is in terms of retaining and protecting student information. My understanding is that when personally identifiable information is transmitted to a third party, that not only this contract applies, but they have the same stringent obligations as FERPA does.
That's correct.
Which means, I understand, we're sending our information to a third parties, but we not only have this agreement, which states that as soon as we terminate the contract, which can happen at any time, they have an obligation to destroy all the information, whether it's 2029 or before. But if they fail to honor the contract, if they don't put encrypted drives like they said that they would, they don't transmit information through an encrypted portal, that they would also be having to deal with the federal government, and that there's provisions in place that they would have to protect that information.
My issue with that is, though, they say somewhere in all the small print here that they're going to de-identify it before they pass it along. I guess I'm wondering, why don't we de-identify it before we give it to Seattle? Just the basic information. Male, he attended this time period, these were, I guess that's what I'm wondering. Why don't we de-identify it on the front end?
De-identify the gender or the
personal information.
Personal information. Okay.
That's one of my big hanging points.
So, do we need a motion to table?
That's on the...
entertain a motion to table.
Okay.
And actually to postpone it to your next regular meeting.
Okay.
I'll make that motion to postpone it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that takes care of the first motion? Okay.
No,
it's tabled.
This will be postponed.
Okay, table. Okay. All right, is everybody okay? All right. Thank you. All right, let's continue on. The next one that was pulled was the LOTE Labs on page 122.
And this is, we're asking the board to approve Stevens Learning Systems for installation of learning other than English LOTE Labs at Foster, Lamar, and Terry High School.
Can I have a motion for this, please?
I'll make the motion.
You'll make a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. All right, now we can have discussion. And again, what's your concerns?
My biggest concern is I'm ignorant. I do not understand the system, and my only thing was going to say I'm going to abstain from the vote. I just cannot cast a intelligent vote on this system. I'm new. I plan to visit the schools at some point. I have a family and a job, so I'm going to have to work that in, and I would love to see this in action before I vote on it. But if you have the votes to pass it.
Can you give a more of a, maybe a visual explanation?
Well, if you can picture just a regular high school classroom with rows of desks, what this does is tracks along the ceiling up where those rows would be, where the headphones and microphone systems can drop down, so the kiddo can hold on to, grab it and pull it close to them and drop it down. And so imagine rows and desks with kids with headphones. So they can be listening to something, but they also can be speaking into that device. And so it all is computerized. So the teacher at his or her computer or iPad or device has access to what each child is doing. So imagine if you were all in the classroom, the teacher might give you all an assignment to listen to a conversation, to do a comprehension. Do you understand it and answer questions? And then she might say, Mr. Welsh, we're gonna have a conversation, just you and I. So all of you all are listening to that conversation, doing the comprehension assignment, but then the teacher is listening to you perform in Spanish whatever task she's given you. So it gives her the opportunity to quickly listen to each child. Once you're done, then she's gonna switch and say, okay, Kay, I want you to speak and give me this prompt in Spanish. And you're gonna dialogue with that teacher in Spanish, while again, the others are doing other things. So it's a quick way for her to check and do. It's also a quick way for students to have multiple opportunities to hear multiple native speakers in whatever language they're learning. Lots of different audio files. It's not video based, so it's just audio and them practicing their language development.
Is this infrastructure being put into the new high school?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
it's already
Yeah, it's
there.
already there.
So we're
It's already there.
retrofitting. George Ranch already had it, and then retrofitting, or Fulshire has it, and we're going back and fixing it.
Is this basically what we used to call the language lab?
It absolutely is. It's a modern version of the language lab. It allows for the same sorts of conversations happening. The LOTEs have changed, and it's really about developing language. So when I was even in Spanish class, it was about really learning vocabulary, sentence structure, grammar. It's not that way anymore. The TEKs are really focused on listening, speaking, reading, and writing in that foreign language. So the expectations for students to produce language are much more rigorous than they were when you or I sat in those classes.
I'm still confused. Because at Tuesday's night, I was understanding that the students were not necessarily proficient in English, or
No.
they were the students that are in that class are wanting to learn another language.
Right, languages other than English are our foreign language classes. So Spanish, French,
So you're going to have one
Chinese.
teacher that's going to be able to work with, if somebody wants to learn French and someone, all of them will be in one class?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So
Okay.
it's just like a computer lab. Teachers could rotate through. So this might be the day where the Spanish teacher's in that classroom. He or she is working with her students in Spanish. Tomorrow might be the day the Chinese teacher reserves that lab room. They flip-flop rooms. The Chinese teacher's in there. So no, the intention would be that the language teacher is working with the students in that class. Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, Spanish 4, Spanish 5.
They're the ones that will be
Yes,
going
ma'am.
in, not the,
It's just,
what I was
it's just
understanding.
another way of
It's a
working.
specialty.
Yes.
Yes.
This was AP testing.
Yes, AP
AP
testing as
testing.
well. Absolutely can be used for AP testing, or will be used for AP testing, because a portion of the AP test, students have to also do the listening comprehension and understanding, but they also have to record spoken practice of whatever
In the language that they're
Yes,
studying.
ma'am.
Okay.
A lot of college hours are provided if you pass make a 3, 4, or 5 a lot in your foreign languages.
Okay.
Is there any other questions or comments?
Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
I know.
I wish I could pull one down right here, you know? Listen to
All right, then I'm going to call for the vote, if that's all right with everyone. All there in favor say aye. Raise your hand. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. All right. Now, I'm glad that we get things cleared up. It's very hard the very first time we go through these. Okay, and I think you also we pulled number 16?
200.
Yes, page 200. It's the
Yes,
expansion of the community eligibility provision.
Right.
I have a motion.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's page
200.
I know. Trying to get there. To flip through. I should have had it. Next time I'm going to have some Post-it. Okay, so this is where we're adding 2 additional designated campuses, Arredondo and Velasquez Elementary Schools, pending verification and approval by the Texas Department of Agriculture. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? All right, now we can have discussion, and you're on.
Hang on just a second.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question or concern?
Once again, I might not fully understand this the way it would be implemented, and I admit that up front. I think a family filling out an application brings accountability, and I do not want abuse in these kind of areas. And everybody goes, come on, John, at the end of the day, we're talking a couple $1,000. Yeah, that couple $1,000 adds up all the time. And my personal budget is often strained, and I'm sitting there thinking, hey, if these kids are on smartphones and they're going to movies all the time and stuff, why aren't their parents paying for them to buy lunch? And I just want some accountability. And so if I don't fully understand it as it is, I can be taught.
Now you can.
Now you can go.
So again, I think the accountability issue is probably more of a challenge when they actually complete an application. As I stated Tuesday, we are required to verify only 3%. So this last year, we, as a district, verified 33 applications, randomly selected. So if we, the number that we accumulate, we check 33. The state of Texas has identified that these 2 new campuses now qualify. They haven't in the past, but the numbers have creeped up enough based on the direct certified list that we could, if we choose to, add them as a CEP campus. We're not required to. We don't have to. We can still continue to take applications at that campus. But again, it helps that community. It helps those families not have the burden of doing the paperwork is what it comes down to.
And they have to do this every year, every school year, if they do have to?
If they do the application?
Yes.
Yes, we have to accept we have to get a new application every school year.
So it sounds like it's a burden for the district staff.
I have one person in my office that approves applications. Everything's on the computer. So the computer does the math for us based on, income and family size. It's a burden, but it's not the end of the world. It can be done. I mean, we have one person for 35,000 students, so it's not. But again, it's computerized, and we do have 16 campuses already participating in CEP. So we're not dealing with applications for those 16 campuses already. Meyer Elementary is currently a CEP campus, and their numbers on the CEP list are lower than the 2 that we're trying to add. So if we were not going to add these, then we probably need to have a talk about Meyer Elementary as well.
Well, I wasn't on the board then, so I don't know.
Yeah, so Meyer Elementary is running about 45% directly certified, or 43%, and these 2 are about 45. So there's more students that are identified on these 2 campuses than there are currently at Meyer Elementary. So from a financial standpoint, or if we're going to help ease the burden of that community, we already have identified and approved Meyer So these two just make sense to add them as well.
And would we approve this again next school year? Or
This, 5 year?
I think it's 5 years.
I think it's a 5-year, and this is, well, this will be year 1 for these two campuses, but it will roll around. I think it's in 2 more years we'd have to look at redoing the whole district. I believe that's...
Go ahead.
I had some questions about this after we chatted, and I asked you for specific numbers that I should have known you wouldn't have handy, so I did some research on my own, but I also have some personal experience just from students and children that I've represented, and there is a stigma that's felt by many students who receive free and reduced meals, both breakfast and lunch. And I've seen it myself, and I've talked with those kids, and programs like this help tear down that stigma because they're not different anymore. They're not the only kids that are going to get the free breakfast or the free lunch. Everybody is getting that. And I can understand the need for accountability, and we certainly want to save money for taxpayers, but these are kids, and we want to make sure that if there's some sort of block to them getting breakfast and lunch, that's going to, 1, affect their physical and mental well-being, and 2, it's going to affect student achievement, because kids that don't eat breakfast and lunch don't perform as well.
Maybe we're not talking about kids going hungry here. We're talking about kids eating food. We're talking about who's paying for it, right?
Well, except that, excuse me, but there'd be times that there are parents that sometimes will not fill out the forms.
Right.
And then those children who would qualify, they're either bringing a sack lunch with something that's a chips and a cold drink or something that's not nutritious, or they are asking others for food, and that has happened before too. So I think what this is trying to do, like you said, with the stigma, but also making sure that we can get nutritious lunch, and then the kids who do run up an account and the parents can't pay for it, then you say you have to give them a cheese sandwich, and then they do feel like...
Yes, that's...
And that is just to the point that even as a teacher, I was going in and buying them all.
And there's some kids that I've represented that I've visited them after school, and they went to a new school and they did not eat all day because they're in a new school, they're trying to make friends, they don't want to be the kid that has to get free and reduced lunch. And so I think it is a matter of making sure that the kids have a nutritious meal and that they are eating, which is then going to result in student achievement. But second, I don't want us to hold students accountable for their parents not turning in a free and reduced lunch application. Because if a parent, it's the parent's responsibility to do that, not the student's. Sure. And so if the parent doesn't do that, then the options for the kids are find whatever you can from a friend or wherever. 2, set up a charge account and get it so high that you're going to get locked out and then you're going to be eating a cheese sandwich every day. Or don't eat at all. And I can tell you that I've had personal experience where I've talked with kids where they've been in those situations, and I think that we don't want to hold kids accountable for their parents not completing an application.
Go ahead.
We have a similar program in my centers. And after we talk to the parents and explain it to them, they have no problems filling out that form. They're more than happy to do it. But it takes having contact one-on-one with those parents. I know that takes time. But I would feel more comfortable that they would actually be accountable rather than just, if you don't fill out the form, it doesn't matter because everybody's going to get served anyway.
But they do have to fill out something, don't they?
Well, the whole deal was that some people don't. They don't want to because they're embarrassed. And I understand that. But when you actually give them the importance of it, that's just my experience. But when we're talking about the tickets, building up the account to the point that they don't pay anyway, can you explain to me, when we're saying here we provide a free breakfast and free lunch to all students, and I'm hearing that there's people that owe money. What am I not getting?
Okay, so on a CEP campus, there would be no charge for anything. they would eat a breakfast and meal, and actually
For everybody.
For everybody at those locations. So those 16 campuses we currently have, Lamar High School, Terry High School, they can choose to buy chips, a bottle of water, ice cream, but if they take a reimbursable lunch or a reimbursable breakfast, it's at no, and the proper wording is actually at no cost. The student is not approved free, the campus is feeding them at no cost.
So do
but
we
it's
assume,
still free, but.
Well, do we assume then that their little credit cards built up on eating extras and maybe?
No, we don't, as a district, our policy does not allow charges of a la carte items.
Okay.
So if I don't have money in my pocket or money in my account, I can't buy an ice cream or a water. If I'm at a non-CEP campus, Fulshire High School, and I don't have money, I can charge a reimbursable lunch up to $15. And then at that point, it's a cheese sandwich and a milk.
Okay.
But they can't charge Gatorade, ice creams, water, stuff like that.
Are there people there monitoring? Because I experience this too. The state says we have to have so much milk, we have to have so much proteins, and we have to measure it. And we have to give it to that child whether they want it or not. So much is wasted. So we're saying every child, they need to eat, but is there anybody there monitoring that these children are actually eating this stuff? Do we have anything like that?
I think the case is that they're monitoring, because I know in some campuses they'll even have a table where the kids can go and put milk if they don't want to drink it, and other people can go and access it. Do we still do that?
Yeah, so we do have some schools that have a share table, and you are correct. The federal government now makes a student take a fruit at breakfast and a fruit or vegetable at lunch.
Right.
So we do offer multiple choices, so we hopefully, if you don't want asparagus, you can take oranges. But you still do see an apple that's not eaten, or a banana, because our cashiers are trained to say, you need to take a fruit or a vegetable, or I'm going to have to charge you a la carte for that item, or for those items. So they'll go back and they'll grab a fruit, or they'll grab green beans. It's great in theory, but the truth is kids don't want asparagus and green beans. So they'll end up in the trash, or the apple or the milk will go to the share table. So if Matt wants a second milk, I don't have to go spend 50 cents. I can go get one that my friend didn't want.
Well, I'm glad to hear, though, you said there is some monitoring with the ladies that are in the cafeteria encouraging.
Well, so our cashiers can't, they're trained not to allow a student to pass if they don't have a reimbursable meal. I can't charge the government a reimbursable meal if it's not
served
fully, and that's why you see a full tray.
Okay.
I think we've got enough information, if that's all right with everyone. So I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor of adding these two new schools to the program, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm still thinking.
All right.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Any opposed? All right, one opposed. It passes. All
Can I
right.
just make a comment? I think it'd be helpful if we would
Say aye.
be able to have some time to go and visit some of these schools.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, did we catch everything now?
Yes, ma'am. We're ready
Okay.
for closed session.
All right, so we will be going to close session. We're adjourning there because Government Code Sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082, the Opens Meeting Act, to discuss personnel, land acquisition, or consultation with our attorney. We're going at 8:08. Back at 8:54 from closed session. We have our quorum. Are there any motions to be made?
Madam Chairman, I move that the Board of Trustees approve renewal of contracts for administrators who are late hires.
Do I have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Are there any future agenda items or information items for next month? Okay.
Are you sorry, who are you asking?
Y'all.
Oh, that's, okay, so we get to add, I don't have anything, but
No,
that's the
but
time
this is
when
the
we can
time
do
that if you had something you could add.
Okay.
Okay. Upcoming meetings or events, very quickly. Next week, on May 21st, Huggins is having their 40th anniversary celebration at 3:30. May 22nd, Hubenek is having their 10-year anniversary at 8:15. And then we got today that special education having their extreme games event, and I think you said it's from 9:30 to 1:30, and they're now doing that green space between Navarro and Terry, is the information we got. And of course, starting May 3rd.
Wait, he's raising the...
Clarification on that, the location will be Trailer High School.
It's now back at Trailer.
It is back at Trailer?
Okay. We're flipping back and forth, okay.
Dr. Randall's in the know.
Okay. And of course, graduation, May 30th through June 1st. And for those, and I asked the question today, it's a clear bag policy for us too. So even though we're going in the back door, got to have a clear bag. So anyway.
And they're $200 at Macy's.
Oh.
I've got my Aggie one, so
I got my Texans one. All right, if there's nothing else, then at 8:56, meeting is adjourned. Thank you. One down.